bank investigator Charlotte Alston and her fiancé, bill collector Derek Smith, are suing neighbor, drugstore clerk Rick Ryan for vandalism to their home, harassment, and slander. Rick is countersuing for vandalism to his cars.
Order. All rise. Right in the courtroom, please. Now, this is case number 554 on the calendar in the matter of Smith Alston versus Ryan. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. You folks have seats, please.
Miss Alston, according to what I've read, you and Mr. Smith moved into a house.
Yes.
Along with some children. Are they your children?
Yes. We have a daughter together.
Are there other children in the house?
My 2 sons.
How old is your daughter?
She's 7.
You've been dating a long time.
10 years.
The test is over. And you moved into the house when? In the year 2000?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan and his family are your neighbors.
Correct.
And according to your complaint, there has been a series of harassing behavior as well as some vandalism that has occurred to your home caused by Mr. Ryan and his children. Mr. Ryan says that the harassment is really yours and that you have been harassing him, his children. You have foster children?
Yes.
How many foster children do you have?
2 foster children, 2 adopted.
Are these your 2 foster children?
Well, one's adopted, one's a foster.
In any event, I have a claim and a counterclaim, each for a substantial amount of money for the harassment and damage to property. And I gather, Ms. Alston, from your complaint that you are in fact selling your house and moving.
Yes.
Because of this problem.
Yes.
That's very sad. Okay. When did the problem start?
2001.
Tell me about it.
Well, when the children started going to school, they befriended his foster children. One incident occurred where Royce had received a scooter for Christmas, which his son broke about a month later, and they had a fight about it.
You got into a fight with him? Tell me about that. Stand up there next to your mom. You stand up there.
Right.
Did he break your scooter by accident?
It was on purpose.
Tell me how he purposely broke your scooter.
He threw it on the sidewalk and it broke the handles.
Why did he throw it?
I don't know.
Was he just being careless? Or was he angry? Why did you break your scooter?
It was an accident. I was just swinging it around and then it slipped out of my
Slowly.
hands.
It was an accident because
I was swinging it around and then it slipped out of my hands.
you were swinging it around. Well, that wasn't handling it like you're supposed to handle a scooter, so you broke it because you weren't being careful, right? Did you pay for the scooter? Why not?
I knew nothing about it.
If you had known about it, would you have paid for the scooter?
Sure.
How come you didn't tell him?
We did.
Tell me about it.
After the fight occurred, the police were called.
No. The scooter was broken.
Right.
Right after the scooter was broken, did you tell Mr. Ryan what had happened?
No, because not even I knew about it until after the fight.
How much after the scooter was broken did the fight take place?
Probably 2 or 3 days.
Okay, so then there's a fight. Go ahead.
After the fight, the police were called. The police came to my house. That's when Royce had then told me his older brother, Anthony, had broke his scooter.
Older brother Anthony.
His older brother was the one who broke the scooter.
So you didn't break the scooter? Did Anthony break the scooter? Who broke the scooter, David?
Anthony.
Then why did you just tell me you broke it? David, why did you tell me that you broke the scooter if it was Anthony who broke it?
Because I didn't remember if it was me or him.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, after the police were called, because Royce had hit him a couple of times and I guess he had retaliated back, we had told the police officer about the scooter, and the police officer went and talked to Mr. Ryan. Mr. Ryan, like he said he knew nothing about it. He never offered to pay for the scooter, so we just basically said we'll get our son another one.
Okay, so that was the first thing that happened. Now, did that start the trouble?
Yes.
Go ahead.
About 2 weeks later, they got a scooter or whatever, found a scooter on the street or whatever. The kids saw it and said, hey, are you going to replace our scooter? And he said, no, we're not going to.
David said no?
Was it David?
Yeah.
Okay, David. So what Royce did, he got upset. He took the scooter and threw it in the garbage. After
Not
that,
the right thing to do, Royce. Right? Okay.
so I guess he went to go look for the scooter, and it was gone. And ever since then, we've been having a lot of chaos with this gentleman.
With the gentleman or with his children?
No, with him.
Well, tell me about it.
Royce was outside. He was walking home from Greer, which is a park that's right around the corner from our house. Frederick Ryan was outside and made a gesture to Royce, hey, would you like to own one of these? Which was a water scooter or jet ski. And Royce looked at him like he was crazy. After that, Frederick came across the street to my house and requested to speak to Royce's parents. We weren't home. My car had broken down and Derek had come to assist me. So we weren't home yet when he came over. Well, when he saw that Royce was there and it was just Royce and my son Laurel, he grabbed my son Royce by the neck.
Now, you weren't home, so you don't know what happened.
No, I'm just going off of what the witnesses told me.
I will hear it from you. Your mother is telling me about an incident when Mr. Ryan came to your house. Do you remember that incident?
Yes.
Your parents weren't home?
No.
Tell me what happened.
Royce had came in. He told me how Rick said you wish you had a jet ski like mine or whatever.
You mean Mr. Ryan?
Yeah.
Mr. Ryan said you wish you had a jet ski like mine, and then Royce came into the house.
Yeah.
Royce, when Mr. Ryan said that to you, did you say anything to him? Nothing? Didn't call him a name or anything?
I just looked at him like, in shock.
Go ahead.
5 minutes later after he came in, all of a sudden you hear a loud bang on the door. I'm thinking it's him and his friend playing. I told them to stop. A couple minutes later, you hear it again. So I was in there washing dishes and I stopped from what I was doing. And it was Frederick with his hands on my brother.
Mr. Ryan?
Mr. Ryan. He had his hands on my brother's neck, throwing him into the door. I came out. I pushed him out. I told him.
Put your hand down, sir.
He was in the house. I pushed him out and I told him, why are you on the property? He looked at me and laughed. And so I pushed him out of the house again and told him, you need to get off my property. And then he tried to grab me. He had me like this. I had him like this and I told him, you're not going to do like you just did my brother. You need to get off my property.
And he left?
My 7-year-old sister had called the police and he heard that and he left.
Did the police respond?
Yes.
You have a police report?
I do.
I'd like to see it, please.
Judge Judy?
I didn't ask you anything yet, Mr. Ryan. Well, Royce, you left something out of your statement to me. You told the police that day that when Mr. Ryan asked you if you'd like to have a jet ski, and you thought he was teasing you, right? Right? You flipped him off. That's what you told the police. Right? Answer me.
Yes.
Now, is that true?
Yes.
Well, don't leave anything out when I ask you a question, young man. This is a court. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I'm going to tell the state of California that they better look very carefully into whether or not you should have him in your house with all your children, madam. Something's not right with him.
I don't think this is fair.
I don't give a rat's behind what you think.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Charlotte Alston says neighbor Rick Ryan assaulted her 9-year-old son. She claims Rick has harassed her family ever since.
Now let's proceed, Mr. Ryan.
Okay.
You've been having a lot of trouble with this young man because you say that there has been bad language coming out.
A lot of it.
Okay.
I got tired of it.
Fine. So you got tired of it. I want you to tell me what happened on October 18th.
I was going to the store, I believe, or I was just coming home. I'm not sure exactly which. And he's out in the street, cussing, swearing, foul language, give me the finger and all this.
That's not true, what you just told me. That's not true, because it's not what you told the police. You told the police this all emanated from the fact that he was calling your daughter names.
No, it had nothing to do with my daughter that day.
Really?
My daughter was not home.
Statement by Frederick Ryans, that's you. Is that correct?
Yes?
I was in the house when my daughter came inside and told me Royce was calling her names. That's the statement you gave to the police.
Okay.
Now you remember, sir?
That's possible. There's been so many instances.
Listen to me carefully, sir.
Okay.
Then you say I don't remember. You don't lie. Do you understand?
I didn't really think
Good.
that's what it was.
It's a lie.
Okay.
Fine. So now let's get to where we're going. So your daughter came in and told you that this young man was calling her names. What did you do?
I went over to the house to talk to the parents.
How did you get there?
With my van.
How far do you live?
Right across the street.
Then you got in your van.
I was going somewhere, so.
You're a liar.
No.
Oh, yes, you are, sir. You got in the van for the purpose of intimidating. I have statements from witnesses, from your neighbors. Listen to me, sir. On your best day, you are not as smart and as clever as I am on my worst day. Do you understand that, Mr. Ryan?
Sure.
If you don't remember something, say, I don't remember. I'm going to read you another statement. You told the police, I followed him, and when I got to the front door, his older brother was there. You didn't tell the police that you were going out and getting into your van. You just stopped by the house. You said, I followed him.
Yeah, I pulled up to the house right there and went up to the front door to talk to the parents.
I watched Rick pull up in his van and chase Royce into the house.
That's not true.
Well, that's from an independent witness, sir.
Well,
That's from an independent witness who was spoken to by the police. Okay, so you get to the house, and he tells you to leave, and you don't leave. You put your hands on him.
Nope.
Did you leave?
I asked to speak
Did
to
you
his
leave?
parents.
He said his parents weren't home. Did you leave?
He showed me.
Did you leave?
After he pushed me and told me to get off the property, I pushed him back.
Let's move to the next incident, please.
Okay, right after that on 10/29, again, Mr. Ryan approached my child. My child was outside on his way to football practice. He drove up on the sidewalk and deliberately tried to run my son over.
Go ahead, I'll hear you, Mr. Ryan.
He was on my sidewalk, and that's where I park.
He was on your sidewalk, and that's where you park. Is that your answer?
That's exactly where I park, yes.
So, the answer is, Mr. Ryan, you did in fact see him on the 29th.
Yeah, yes.
And he was on the sidewalk, but you park on the sidewalk.
I don't park. It's not on the sidewalk, but it's right on the curb there. He was there in the parking spot when I pulled up.
So, you pulled up and he got out of the way.
Yes.
I'm going to tell the state of California that they better look very carefully into whether or not you should have him in your house with all your children, madam. There's something not right with him. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I've been in this business a long time. Something's not right with him. He's picking on a kid. Put your hand down. You're supposed to be the adult.
Well, I don't think this is fair.
I don't give a rat's behind what you think, Mr. Ryan. I came into this case as a blank slate.
Right.
I said to myself, I can't believe he's a man, he must love children, he has
I do.
foster children, and yet I'm listening to a series of
Lies.
Provocative acts by an adult against children. One where you actually put your hands on him.
That's not true.
Oh, yes it is. You
No.
actually put your hands on him.
If I put my hands on him and slammed him up against the door, ma'am, if it was my child, I would take them to the hospital. Excuse me.
I want to tell you something. I find that you put your hands on him.
No, I have not.
Oh, I find that
I
he
would
puts
never
his
do
hands
that.
on you to get you out of his house. But you put
I
your
was never
hands
in
on
the
him.
house. Never in the
That's
house.
3
no.
children that you either touched or tried to hurt or tried to scare in 10 minutes. Now, is that the kind of person that I think should be taking care of children? That the state should entrust children to? The answer, madam, is no. I now want to hear about your allegation of vandalism against Mr. Ryan.
Okay, November 10th. My daughter and my younger son were outside playing, and I guess she was 6 years old at the time. Went across the street and doorbell ditched his house.
What does that mean?
She went across the street and rang his doorbell and ran back across the street.
Not smart.
She was
Your
only
6-year-old.
She's 6.
Not smart.
And when he came out and saw her running, he called her. Mr. Smith, when Royce came in and told his dad what had just occurred, Derek went over there to talk to find out what had happened. When Derek went over there, he immediately said, if you don't get off my property, I'm going to shoot your house up. At that time...
Well, just a minute. Were you there?
Yes, I was.
Did you hear it?
Yes, I did.
Did you hear it?
I heard it. I was right there in the garage.
Okay.
After that, Derek said, I need to know why you just called my daughter out of her name. Why would you talk to my 6-year-old daughter in that tone of manner? At that point, his wife comes to the door yelling, if you don't get off my property, we're going to do something to you. So she goes back into the house as if she's going to get a gun. I go over, I grab my fiance.
Well, she went back into the house.
She went back into the house like she was going to go get something. Police. When I saw that, I deliberately ran over and grabbed my fiance and said, let's get out of here. These people are crazy.
Okay, stop. What was the vandalism?
The vandalism was he shot through our window November 21st.
Did anybody see him do it?
My son did. He didn't actually see him. He heard his door open.
When he opens his door, it squeaks a lot. And just before my window was shot, because I was in my room at the time when it was shot through, the door squeaked open. When it was shot afterwards, his door squeaked again, and it sounded like it shut.
That's not very strong circumstantial evidence. Some, considering the history, but it's not sufficient enough for me to find an act of vandalism on Mr. Ryan's part. Okay. I'd like to hear the first act of alleged harassment against you, Mr. Ryan.
On the 30th of December, he was cussing and yelling out the window. Then
Who was cussing and yelling out the window?
Royce.
Royce, the little one.
Yes. Then 2 days later, on the 1st, my oldest daughter, who's not here, who's 17 and a half, went to Placerville with her boyfriend, and she was just coming home. And right after that, she came in the house and she saw him going along my wife's car, scraping it.
Where's your daughter?
She didn't come.
Well, then I'm not interested in what you have to tell me, because if you didn't see it and she's not here to tell me about it, it never happened. Do you
I
understand?
saw them run across the street.
Excuse me?
She saw them run across the street.
Step up.
They were in the yard.
Step up.
and ran.
No.
Hold on.
They were the
Okay,
little
what
one-
date did this happen?
January 1st.
January 1st.
Okay, tell me what you saw.
I saw the little one by the side of the car, and when he realized it was me, he ran across the street.
So you didn't see him do anything? Is
well,
that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you what you should have done, Mr. Ryan. When one of your children broke his new scooter, you should have been the right kind of neighbors and gone over to the Smith Alstons and said to them, "We're sorry my son did that. I'm going to replace it," because that's what you're supposed to do. You should have gone over there. I'm not excusing bad behavior. Yours. You understand? I think that you have a fresh mouth. Royce, does your mom know you have a fresh mouth?
Yes.
He does, you know.
Yes.
You know, he looks like a sweet little angel, but, you know, I know that he can be a nasty little kid. Not necessarily his brother, who looks like a relatively mild guy. But this one's a brat.
Judge Judy will continue in a moment.
I heard not one incident, Mr. Ryan, or Mrs. Ryan, where either Miss Alston or Mr. Smith acted inappropriately with your children. There may have been instances with their children acting inappropriately with your children, or acting inappropriately towards you, calling you names, this little fresh mouth over here. But I haven't heard one incident where these two people acted inappropriately with you or your minor children, because that's what caused them to sell their house, the fact that adults who were supposed to know better were intimidating their children that they can't tolerate, then they have to move. And for that, you have to pay. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. Defendants get nothing on their counterclaim. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy will continue in a moment.
We tried to get a restraining order.
Basically, I have tried to talk with him
We argued for an hour and a half. There's nothing but constant lies.
verbally, but to no avail.
And it's ridiculous.
This man has severe problems. He needs help.
72-year-old Mary Jenkins is suing her daughter, youth counselor Mary Lynn Fowler, and her husband William Fowler for the cost of a trip to Hawaii.
Order. All rise. Now, this is case number 86 on the calendar in the matter of Jenkins versus Fowler.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mrs. Jenkins, the defendant is your daughter,
I gave birth to her, yes.
and the co-defendant your son-in-law.
Yes.
According to your complaint, you believe that your daughter and son-in-law owe you for their share of a trip that you took to Hawaii.
Yes.
You asked your daughter to join you so that she could help you with your wheelchair and getting around, and you agreed to pay for her.
Yes, I did that.
She wanted her husband to go along. You said you couldn't pay for him.
Yes.
Or would not pay for him, and she agreed to pay for him.
Right.
So you say that they owe you some $3,000 for the trip.
Well, there was more than that. I gave her the number to my credit card that she could use over the telephone, and so she charged up a lot of things before we ever got started. Told her she could charge a car payment, utility bill, cellular one, Geico.
So a lot of other of their personal charges that
Yes.
they placed on your credit card.
Yes.
Can I see the list of credit card charges that you think that they owe you, Ms. Jenkins?
Do you also want to see where on a different credit card I paid for everybody?
Yes. Okay, so you paid for everybody's ticket and the hotel, but that you had agreed to pay for, except for his ticket.
Right, and hotel. That's $800 and some for the whole thing. It was a package deal.
$25.33.
Yes.
I'm really more concerned about this credit card, $3,670.
I'm concerned about that too.
Well, tell me what your interpretation was of the agreement that you had with your mother when you went, and the bills that you paid from her credit card.
When this came about, Miss Jenkins had said that she wanted to take a trip to Hawaii, and she was quite ill. She had emphysema, and that this might be the last chance she'd get to see Hawaii. She'd been there several times, and she knew that I had never been to Hawaii, and she also, we'd only been married a short time, and we didn't have a honeymoon, and she needed a caregiver, and my husband was a medic while he was in the service, and she felt that between the two of us, we could help her get around. But she also wanted to give it to us as a honeymoon present.
Is that what she said?
That's what she said. A honeymoon present that she was paying for 2/3, we would pay 1/3.
Or why would we go?
Just a minute. Go ahead.
Okay, and so I told her, I kept saying, no, we can't afford this. We just put a new roof on our house. We bought this older home that we were restoring. I had used both of our vacation time to go to my son's wedding in March in Kansas City. I had flown back to Maryland for my birth of my... I know, but there was no way we could afford to do this.
Okay.
I said, you know, if we're both missing a week of work, we can't pay our monthly payments. And she said, well, she had several credit cards with a zero balance, that she would be able to handle it.
As a loan or as a gift?
As a loan.
So some of your monthly expenses, in addition to 1/3 of the cost of the trip.
Right.
Okay.
Because I haven't been a part of Miss Jenkins' life, but the last 24 years, I have gotten to know my siblings, and they all told me that I needed to get everything in writing. They all warned me, or get witnesses. And in those phone calls, Miss Jenkins shared with us that...
Do you call your mother Miss Jenkins?
My mom, it is very hard, told us that it didn't matter how long it took, or how long it took, or how much we could afford per month. You know, that she really wanted to go on this trip, and she wanted to be able to experience the time. I've never been alone with my mom on a trip ever.
Why is that?
So she's never been a mother to her, Your Honor?
Well, I was 3 months old when I was sold to a family. It was considered like a black market by my biological father and mother. And
so you were raised by another family?
I was raised by another group of people that abused me for the first 18 years of my life.
And then you found your mother?
I was 29 when I made the first call on April 7th, 1978.
You have siblings?
I have 7 siblings.
All older?
2 older, and the rest are younger, and 1 sibling by my father.
So this was really the first time you were alone with your mother?
Alone without anybody except for my husband.
So you have every intention, or your intention is or was to pay back the expenses that you put on this card, your phone bill and your insurance and the other things. Okay. Did you pay back any of the money to your mother?
Yes, I did.
How much did you pay back?
The total is $1,026.
Now, as far as you're concerned, does that bring you up to date with your mother, both for the expenses that you charged on a card and the third of the trip? Doesn't look
We
that
don't know
way.
how much a third of the trip was.
We have never received any documentation telling us the cost of the hotel or cost of the airplane ride, anything.
All I know is the trip to Hawaii was $25.33. 1/3 of that is $8.44.
Okay.
Okay. And then the other charges that you have on this credit card, which is what your mother gave me. Let me see if I can come up with a number.
I have letters here from both Mary Lynn and her husband that said how much they were going to pay and when they were going to pay. When she first came to Oregon, I co-signed for her to get a new car.
I'm not going, listen to me. Don't go back into ancient history. This is a very simple case, and let's not make it any more complicated, madam.
The last payments I got was for $13. That's what they're going to pay me the rest. $13 for 18 years will repay me for this loan.
How old are you, Miss Jenkins?
72.
You don't have a lot of money, but you have some, enough to keep you comfortable?
Yes.
Good. Is it important for you to have a relationship with your daughter?
Not now.
She never did before.
Shh, just a minute. That's not her fault.
I was in the hospital when she was taken from me, and her father placed her with these people. I was in the hospital. He had deserted us. I was there for malnutrition and a kidney infection. And he brought these people to the hospital and said they wanted to adopt her. I throwed such a fit, they threw them all out. When I got out of the hospital, he had placed her with these people.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She told him that the used appliance man was my father. It's not a matter of money. I was sold for pots and pans and the cost of her hospital bill.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Mary Jenkins says her daughter, Mary Lynn Fowler, and her husband, William Fowler, owe for a trip to Hawaii and for unpaid credit card charges.
Miss Jenkins, I'm not placing blame.
Oh, okay.
I'm not placing blame. All I'm saying to you, it's not her fault. She was the baby. She was a baby.
That's right.
So
it also was not my fault. I tried.
Well, it's not her fault, so it has to be parents' fault because the parents are the parents. It's not her fault. All I'm saying to you is...
I was 18 years old when she was born.
All I'm saying to you is, it seems to me that it's a very sad state of affairs.
It is a sad story.
When a parent, especially with a circumstance where there has been a terrible estrangement over the years, for a couple of $1,000s, sues a child. That's something that I hate to see. If a child disappoints you by not repaying a loan, what parents usually do is say, I'm not going to give them any more money. It's a sorry state of affairs when you choose, under these circumstances, over a trip, to bring a lawsuit against your children. Now I'm going to turn to your counterclaim for a minute, which I believe you know at this point is nonsense, but I'm just going to make sure you know it's nonsense. Your counterclaim is for two things. You believe that you should be paid for caregiving services on the trip to Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And then a certain emotional distress. The emotional distress, I'm sure, is some of the distress that you've just told me about. Well, you don't get paid for that. And as far as the caregiving for your mom, that was the arrangement. The arrangement was you were going to take care of her there so that she could travel. There was never any discussion of compensation, so you're not entitled to create a contract afterwards. So I'm sure that but for the fact that your mother filed this lawsuit, you would not have filed your counterclaim. Right. Would that be a fair statement?
That's right.
Yes.
So, the emotional stress, though, I did have to go into therapy, which was very helpful so that I could write the letter that started this whole thing. On January 2nd, I wrote her a letter sharing with her I knew the truth and that she doesn't realize I have the paperwork where she signed me off when I was 3 months old. I have 2 valid certificates of birth with 2 different names. The people that adopted me to put me on a life of abuse. I was 18 years. That's why the $13 for 18 years, for the 18 years of hell I lived in until I could leave home. It's not a matter of money. I was sold for pots and pans and the cost of her hospital bill. And my biological father shared in the guilt. He told me he was sorry. He thought he wasn't my father. She told him that the used appliance man was my father. So that's why he left. He didn't have any need to stay around any longer.
Mrs. Fowler, it sounds to me as if you have a lot on your emotional plate to deal with.
And I do, and I appreciate your allowing me to share.
I believe that you have a lot on your emotional plate to deal with. So let me just make some suggestions to you.
Thank you.
You have children?
I have 3.
How old are they?
My oldest is 33. He's a president of a company. My daughter lives here in Los Angeles. I adopted her from Cambodia, and she's 41. She's married to a fireman here, and my youngest son is just 30, and he's a doctor of psychology, and he just was out of the Navy during the 9/11.
So it sounds like you have 3 lovely children.
I do,
They've done
and
okay.
grandchildren.
And how many?
3 grandchildren
Soon
and
to be 3.
No, I have 3. 2 boys here, 1 girl in Nebraska, and 2 that are in within the next week.
So it sounds like everything came together.
That's good.
Despite the pain in the beginning of your life. So well, the reason I asked you the age of your kids is because you had children when they were 18. Remember when they were 17, 18 years old?
Definitely.
Tell me about them when they were 17, 18 years old.
Hot cars and fun times, and we also went through.
But irresponsible.
They had to be respectful, you know.
But
they had to be
irresponsible.
responsible. Yes.
Irresponsible kids.
Yes.
Kids.
Sometimes.
So because I had 18-year-olds, a whole bunch of them, and they know nothing.
Oh, about life.
So I want you to just think about your mother being 18 years old, and you were her 3rd child?
3rd child.
3rd child. So something wasn't going right in her life.
I know that.
Because she must have had first when she was 14 or 15. Right?
And I understand
So something wasn't going right there. And nobody has a crystal ball. Very often adoptions turn out beautifully. Most often they turn out beautifully. People who want to adopt a baby really want a child very desperately, and they want to give the child a home. So if that even entered the mix of 18 years old, I got 3 children, I have no idea how I'm going to pay for tomorrow's bread, at least give my child a shot at a future. The fact that it turned out badly is a sin.
It is.
But I don't think that that sin can be visited on your mother, because you know what being 18 is, being 17 and 16 and 15 and...
Nor did I ever say that I knew this dramatically because I didn't want her to hurt. I have, you know, I've known for the last 29 years that I was bought. I was not ever legally adopted. There's no legal adoption papers. And I was told from birth on that I was not loved and that I was sold to them.
Then your quasi-adopted parents did a terrible thing.
They did.
And
they're gone.
And everybody's dead but me, so that's why use
No, they're
mother.
not.
No, Miss Jenkins, you
I'm
have
serious.
to...
All these other people are all dead.
You have to understand that your daughter, even though she's 53 years old, has certain hurts.
I understand that.
And that
I
she's
hurt
had
too when I couldn't get my
No.
baby.
Listen to me. It's different. You're the mother. You're supposed to be the one to take care of business, even if you are 18 years old. It was your fault you got pregnant. It was your fault you had her. And she's had to deal with certain hurts her whole life. And it looks to me as if she has done a responsible turnaround, despite her unfortunate upbringing. And she's raised a family. She has a nice husband. She has nice children. And she appears to me to be a lovely lady, despite the fact that she has pain. And I think you're making a big mistake by suing her. I want to tell you that I think you're making a big mistake by suing her.
Can I say something?
Sure can.
When she first found me, she called me. I got on a plane. I went back there. I spent a month with her. And while I was there, this man came to the door. He didn't knock. He said, "Mary Lynn, I'm coming in." This is the same man she was talking about that done all these things to her. She was 28 years old then. I talked to her ex-husband that she married at 18 years old. When I talked to her husband about this, he said he didn't know anything about it, or he would not have let a child molester in his home. I asked him, how could this be? She didn't share that with her husband? She was 18 years old?
Miss Jenkins, sometimes you don't share those things with anybody.
Now she's sharing it with the whole world.
Just a second. Maybe a little therapy and maybe a little maturity allows her to do that. But I won't allow you to dismiss that, because even if over the years the facts have become blurred, your daughter felt abandoned when she found out that she was not a biological child of these people, that she had not been formally adopted. And the fact that she married somebody when she was 18 seems to suggest that there were a lot of things going on that...
And she married a man with money so that her children could go to college. I didn't do that.
Just
I'm
a second.
sorry.
Just a second.
May I?
She has not had an irresponsible life. I think you're making a mistake by suing her, but there it looks to me, look, folks, I see that I'm not going to repair this, Miss Fowler.
Can I add,
Sure.
Can I add something? I've been silent. Yes, I've been silent. My ex-husband did not know about my abuse because I felt like I would have been dirty to him. The reason why the child molester came in my home was because he was at my grandmother's house. My biological mother was there. He came in because he wanted to renew old friendships with her. He was
That's
in
a
and
lie,
out.
Mary
He was
Lynn.
in and out of our home for the first 3 years of my life. He would come over and drop me off. She would babysit for me while they went out and partied. And you tell them that's
are
not
you
a
telling
lie?
me that you knew your mother?
My mother babysat for me till I was 3 years old.
In these other people's homes?
In her own home. They brought me to her
my
house.
home.
So at 3 months old, you were given to another couple.
Right.
But they allowed your mother to babysit for you
Right.
until you were 3
years old.
Miss Fowler,
Thank you. I'm
you
sorry.
have a nice husband?
I have a wonderful husband.
You have 3 children?
Yes.
You're going to have some new grandchildren?
Yes.
Sounds to me as if everything is okay.
It is.
And you're trying to find a
Some
comfortable
closure.
path. A comfortable path for yourself. I don't think your mom's going to get there. She's not going to get there. And whether or not you can mend it, I don't know. And I don't even know whether it should be that important to you anymore. You know, you want it to be important, but I don't know if
Everybody wants a mom.
Yeah, but I don't know if it can be. So it seems to me as if you have somebody lovely to rely on, and you have a lovely family, and maybe it's just time to put that period. So, Miss Jenkins, I've gone over some brief figures. You're suing your daughter and your son-in-law for $3,048.38. I find that they owe you $760 on the bills, and I'm entering a judgment in your favor for $760. And if you want to cancel it, you can. That's all.
I want to
That's
cancel
up to you.
it. I want to cancel it.
Well, you want to cancel the debt? No, that's
No,
important.
I want to
You want to
cancel
cancel
this
the
court.
debt?
I want to cancel
Do you want to
this court.
cancel the debt?
No, I want
You want
the money I need to pay the credit card off.
$760 then is what you get, period.
I hope you enjoy it, Mary
Parties
Lynn.
are excused. You may step out.
This isn't about the money. It was about the letter I sent to her telling her I knew about being sold.
These people have 2 good jobs. They take care of his sister that's handicapped like I am, and then they give her $200 a month, but they can't pay me $100 a month.
It's just sad. It's just so sad that she can't put her pride in her pocket. She has to be such an obnoxious old woman.
Mail courier Merle Stutz is suing his ex-girlfriend, in-home caregiver Leylon Bailey, for the return of a van and the return of jewelry. Leylon says the van is titled in her name.
Order. All rise. Now, this is case number 118 on the calendar in the matter of Stutz versus Bailey. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have seats, please.
This case is like a mini-series. Mr. Stutz, you and the defendant lived together for a long time, and there are lots of pieces to your claims, because I have a claim, I have a counterclaim. The main part of the case is about a van that you claim is yours, that after you broke up, you had impounded. So now the van is in impound someplace. Is that right, sir?
Yes, it's in a storage.
And you want the defendant to give you the title to the van so you could have your van out of storage. The defendant says it's her van, and she wants the van. Then you claim that she has some jewelry that belongs to you. She says she has one piece of jewelry that belongs to you that she's prepared to give back to you. And what is that, madam?
The ring his father had made for him.
Can I see it, Bert, please?
Sure.
So let's take care of the simple things first. Okay. Is this your father's ring, sir?
I can't see that far.
You can't see that far. I can see up close.
Yes, it looks like it.
Now you have it back.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Easy.
Thank you.
Now let's deal with the other easy part of this case. You were engaged to be married,
That's true.
and you gave her an engagement ring.
Yes.
And how much did you pay for this engagement ring?
Approximately $1,300.
You have the receipt?
No, I don't have the receipts. She has all the receipts to them. We had a joint checking account at the time. My mom left me a bunch of money, and I put it into account because I couldn't have a checking account. And so she paid for it, which was my money that was in the account. She paid for it with check. All the money that was put into the account was what my mother had left me. My mom left me approximately like $48,000, and it was all my money that was in that account. She had nothing.
Yes.
I took care of his mother. She was dying of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yes.
How long did you take care of his mother?
About 6 or 7 months.
Yes, she took care of my mother. My sister made her a deal. Paid her so much money a week, room and board. During the time she was there taking care of my mother, my mom still took care of her family, helped her mother out.
All right.
And
Let me
everything.
just a second. So what you're telling me is she wrote out the check for her own engagement ring.
Yeah, with my money.
Was it his money that paid for the engagement ring?
Yes, he put the money into the checking account,
All right.
and it was
Fine.
$1,000.
So it's his?
It was $1,000.
$1,000. Where's the ring?
It got stolen along with my VCR and some other stuff of mine.
When?
I'm not exactly sure. It was in my girlfriend's car.
Did you file a police report?
No.
Why not?
Because I had to have her. It was in her car.
So what? If the property was stolen out of the car, why didn't you file a police report?
Well, I didn't find out about it until later.
I
Then
don't
couldn't
believe
get
you.
Well, it's true.
Oh, I don't believe you. How's that? You don't keep an engagement ring in a car.
No, she had my bags and stuff.
Did she have insurance?
No.
Then if she didn't have insurance, then you file a police report. Then you say to me, here's the police report. I listed it as an item that was stolen, and therefore I have some proof that it was stolen. So right now, sir, you're ahead of the game by $1,000.
Thank you.
On your claim. Now tell me about the van.
Okay, I bought, my mom left me money, and she had 3 wishes for me. One, okay, well, I bought this van on approximately October, when I got a big check from my mom's inheritance that she left me. And she was supposed to go register the van as me as legal owner and her as registered owner.
Why did she do that?
For insurance purposes.
Why? What's wrong with you?
My record isn't very good that
Why?
way. Because I had a couple tickets at the time.
What else, sir?
And that's it. Just tickets.
So you put the van in her name?
No, it was never finished in her name. What it was, she was supposed to go take it down there, and then when she left, after a big heated argument, she took the van, and just left. The next day I go down to the DMV to find out what's up. They tell me that she's trying to put this in her name. And so I says, wait a minute here, so the DMV puts a stop on it. And as my witness will tell you, he's seen the money exchange at the time.
How much did you pay for the van?
I paid approximately $3,300 for it.
Oh, okay. Now, what's your story about the van?
For one, he wasn't there.
Just tell me what your story is about the van.
Okay, when we were waiting for the house to go through probate, he lost his job. We needed money to pay the rent, and we sold the Volkswagen van so we could pay rent. And he said that he would buy me another van, and he was going to buy a truck. And he said...
All right, so you sold his car in order to pay the rent?
No, he gave it to me, and he kept saying, it's up to you, it's your van. If you want to sell it. I said, well, we need to pay our bills.
All right, let's go. Let's go. So now we went and bought the van. He bought the van with his money, is that right?
Yes.
Is that van titled now? Is there?
No, it's not. It's right through the middle of it all.
It's not complete, but I have the paperwork here.
Good. Can I have it, please?
And then there's some
I'll
other
just give
jewelry
her
that's
all
involved
the
too.
paperwork.
That's it. That's it.
And Your Honor?
What?
Can I say something else?
What?
When I went to the DMV to finish the paperwork, and the police came and said that it was on the hot sheet, I said, yes, I reported it stolen because it was stolen from behind my apartment.
How long did you people live together?
Off and on for like 15, 16 years. When my mom died, I tried to make it work, and it just wouldn't work. I was tired of taking care of her and her family. We went through a bundle of money, and like 3 months, we went through a lot of money.
And I don't have any indication that he made a gift of this van to you. He bought it, he paid for it, and shortly after you got it, you took off.
When I left, Your Honor, he said for me to sign off on the RV, and he wouldn't give me any problems about the van.
That's baloney.
Oh, just 1 second, just 1 second. Hold on a second. Oh, here we... Hold on a second.
He was there.
Shh.
He was there.
Hold on a second. You bought an RV?
I bought this RV at the beginning of when my mom gave me a first $10,000 check. I bought an RV to live in because my mom, when she was on her dying bed, said to buy this so you make sure you have something to live in.
Just a second. What year was that?
2000.
And at that point, you'd been together with her 13 or 14
No,
years?
we really weren't together off and on. What happened
What does
was
that
we
mean?
got back together when she was taking care of my
When
mother.
he needed help.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
and she got paid for it. I even
Okay,
took her to
just 1
Mexico
second.
on a cruise.
So before that, you weren't living together?
No, we only actually lived together after my mom died for, 10 months or something like that. A relationship was just like that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He almost killed me when his mother was alive, and I told him if he laid a hand on me that I would leave.
I haven't touched you in over 10 years.
Listen to me. I'm not interested. Get over it.
And later today,
Have you ever known her to be psychiatrically hospitalized?
Yes.
How many times was she in a psychiatric hospital?
I really couldn't tell you because I'm so used to being incarcerated, so I couldn't tell you.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Merle Stutt says his former longtime girlfriend, Leylon Bailey, owes for the return of his van and the return of jewelry. Leylon says Merle has her belongings too.
Listen to me. Give him the title to his van.
I was there.
Your Honor, he was there.
I don't care. He paid for the van. It's his van. He was stupid to say, go put it in your, you put it in your name.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
No, he told me to.
Quiet. We don't have a long-standing living together for 15 or 16 years. You've known each other 15 or 16 years. You actually lived together for 10 months after his mother died.
We lived together before. And he almost killed me when his mother was alive. And I told him if he laid a hand on me that I would leave.
Then why did you
I
go
haven't
back?
touched you in over 10 years.
Then why'd you
tell
go
him in the RV.
Listen to me. I'm not interested. Get over it. Get over it. You cared for her enough to give her an engagement ring, right?
Yes,
and he bought me the van.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
yes. I'm agreeing with that.
Fine. And you get $1,000 for that because I don't believe her story for a second that it got stolen out of a car with a lot of other stuff without filing a police report because somebody has property that's stolen. You call the police and you say, this car was broken into and all my property was stolen. That's what a normal person does. All right. Now, you say that he has some of your personal property. What does he have of your personal property?
My microwave oven that my girlfriend gave to me.
Yeah.
He tried to give me an old broken down one.
Yeah.
And
What else?
my brass
Stop it.
collection, my angel collection.
What else?
Some clothes.
You have her angel collection?
She can have it all.
Sure. I want you to just pay attention to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have her angel collection?
Yes, it's in storage, and I'll give it back to her. So no
Pack
problem
it
at all.
nicely and give it back to her.
Yes.
Do you have a microwave that she had?
No.
Nothing else?
The microwave was given to both of us
Listen
to
to
put
me.
in a motorhome.
Anything else other than her angel collection?
I'll give her everything. I don't want none of her stuff.
What else do you have? I need to itemize it.
My mom gave her a rocking chair, which she can have, and the angel
And my sewing machine.
and the sewing machine. She can have that too.
What
Yeah,
else?
that's
So let's
all I
make it
took.
clear.
Okay.
Listen. The two of you, stop moving around so much. You're making me nervous. Angel collection, sewing machine, and a rocking chair. What else do you have, sir?
That's all. I don't know if the sewing machine and the rocking chair is in the garage because I went in there and she'd already been in the garage taking stuff out of it.
Do
so
you
we
have
to
the
ask her if she
sewing
took it
machine?
or
Yes,
not.
I got the sewing machine.
And what about the rocking chair?
I got the rocking chair. but-
Fine. So what we're talking about is an angel collection. 5 days from today, you make sure she gets
Oh, yeah, yeah, I will.
That's all. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
The only reason I left was because he hit me, and I told him if he got physically abusive with me again. Oh,
never
yeah,
touched
you
you.
never tried to kill me, huh?
I took her to Mexico, spent money on her, bought her clothes.
He almost killed me when his
But
mother was alive.
Giving her family money, taking care of everybody. And I just got tired of it.
If they've been physically abusive once, they'll never change.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Stavitsky versus Pickett. Step forward, please.
Homemaker Karen Stavitsky is suing her best friend's estranged husband, technician Tim Pickett, for an unpaid loan for an engagement ring.
Miss Stavitsky, the defendant became engaged and then married your best friend.
That's correct.
Is that your best friend?
Yes.
So you and the defendant were married at some point, or still are married, but in the process of divorcing.
Correct.
Is that right, sir?
Yes.
When did you become engaged, sir?
December 21st, I believe it was.
Of what year?
1999.
And you wanted to buy your fiancé an engagement ring,
Yes, Your Honor.
but you didn't have enough money, so that the plaintiff lent you some money.
Yes.
How much money did she lend you?
$1,678.95.
Is that the total amount of the ring that was purchased?
Yes.
Tell me about the conversation that you had with her with regard to her making this loan to you.
Well, we had come to an agreement that I would pay her $100 a month until the ring was paid off.
She was very nice.
Yes.
Well, the lawsuit is all about this. They got married. When did you get married?
June 17th of 2000.
And you were making payments on the ring.
Yes.
You still owe some money on the ring.
Yes.
And you say, I'm not paying for it anymore. Right?
Correct.
Get it from her. That's your position.
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain to me how that works.
Not long after the marriage, we were having financial difficulty, and Karen was aware of this, and we had talked, and she agreed that what I could pay her as often as I could, I would. Since the divorce was filed, I haven't been able to make any payments because of the payments that I'm making as far as covering bills and child support, and now Karen has filed suit against me for the outcoming of the ring.
Well, why should she be out the money?
Well, she shouldn't be out the money, Your Honor, but the cause of the divorce I mean, my children were verbally assaulted, and I'm sorry, I don't stand for that type of treatment to children, so I had to leave the home.
Well, your wife's not the plaintiff in this case. She's the plaintiff. She was a nice person. She lent you money so that you could buy a ring because you were in love with this girl. You wanted to give her a ring. You said, I don't have the money. Lend it to me.
Yes, Your Honor.
She lent it to you.
Right.
And now you're in your answer. You say, I don't have the marriage. I don't have the ring. I don't get to look at the ring.
Well,
and therefore, I don't have to pay for the ring. Go ahead.
Your Honor, I've requested that the ring be given back or to be sold to pay off the loan on the ring.
I know that's what you requested, but why do you think that you're entitled to that?
As far as a wedding ring to me, Your Honor, it represents...
Engagement ring, not wedding ring.
Well, it's an engagement wedding ring set.
Okay.
Is honor, trust, which was broken in the marriage.
By her?
No. That's why I requested the ring back, so it could be sold to pay...
You don't get
Karen
it
the
back.
money.
You don't get an engagement ring back once you've been married. You get an engagement ring back if you're not married. An engagement ring is given in contemplation of getting married. It has always been my position that if the engagement is broken, whosever fault that is, the ring goes back to the person who gave the ring because there's no contract. But once you get married, what you're suggesting is all those people who get divorced, the ex-husbands get back the engagement ring, whether they're married for a year or 2 years or 25 years or 30 years or 50 years, they get back the engagement ring. Is that your position?
Yes.
Wrong! How much does he owe you on the ring?
$978.95.
Judgment for the plaintiff, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I have to honor what the judge decided.
Well, I'm just glad to get my money.
Make my life miserable, I guess.
I'm not making his life miserable.
It's been a rough time on me.
I had nothing to do with his marriage breaking up.
I still think that the ring should have been returned to pay off the debt.
I think he owes her the money, and I think it's ridiculous that he brought our marriage into the whole matter.
Make sure you know the person you're getting married to.
I bought his ring, and I paid for it myself. I think he should pay for it himself.
16-year-old Angela Veers and her guardian, sales manager Patty Cooper, are suing Angela's adoptive mother, dietary manager Sherry Veers, for money taken from a settlement account.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 103 on the calendar, the matter of Veers Cooper versus Veers. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Sir, have a seat, please.
Tell me your first name.
Angela?
Angela. Person that you're standing next to is your guardian.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
She is also a relative of yours. Is that right?
Yes.
How is she related to you?
She's my aunt.
And the defendant is your adoptive mother.
Yes.
And she's also related to you in some way, biologically. Tell me about that.
She's my aunt.
She's another aunt.
Yes.
And I gather from reading the complaint that you've lived with a lot of different people. Is that right?
Yes.
And you went to live with and was subsequently adopted by the defendant, your aunt, when you were how old?
14.
How old are you now?
16.
And how long did you live with her in total?
Approximately about a year. Maybe a little less.
And it didn't work out?
No.
And ultimately you came back to live with your other aunt, who is now your guardian?
Yes.
With your permission?
Yes.
This case is about a settlement that you had. When you were a little girl, you were bitten by a dog. And there was a lawsuit and a settlement. How much was that settlement?
Settlement was $9,000.
And there were a couple of withdrawals from that settlement for some small items. Is that right?
Correct.
Way back when you were younger. What were those items?
One, I believe, was going to the dentist or the orthodontist, checking out what damages there was done after things had healed. And then the second time was to pay a back medical bill from when the dog bite happened.
And this lawsuit is about the remainder of that money, which was how much when you adopted her?
It was $9,000 when we went into the bank, got the savings, and put it into our name.
And in the year that she lived with you...
Actually, she lived with me a little bit longer.
How much longer?
We got her when she was 13, and she stayed with us until she was 15. And I went through a divorce, and I was starting to do a little bit of partying and wrong lifestyle for her. So that's when my sister came forward, and so I can get back on my feet again.
Ultimately, you took all of her money and spent it.
But I used it on her.
For what?
for clothes. When my ex and I adopted her, we weren't financially stable ourselves.
Then you shouldn't have adopted her.
Well, I did not want her to go into a foster home or anybody else. We wanted to keep her into our family.
Then you didn't have to adopt her. You could have taken her. You could have become her legal guardian.
I didn't even think about that.
Well, I don't care what you thought about, but when you adopt a child, you assume financial responsibility for the child. You can't take her money. What makes you think you can take her money?
But I understand that. I've been making payments for her dentist because I am reliable. So I've been making $90 monthly payments for her.
You took $9,000 of her money. How much was her dentist?
For her braces and stuff was $4,000.
Okay. Now, you could have left her money in this settlement account, in the minor account where it was, left that money there, and you could have petitioned the court. You say, I need some of this money to pay a dental bill, you know, because she needs orthodontia as a result of it. That's fine. And the court would have given you, in all probability, the ability to take out that money, $4,000. So you got 9, you take away 4, leaves $5,000. Then she would have had $5,000. What did you spend the rest of the money on?
But we used that to get her school clothes and her accidentals that she needed.
You have to do that yourself. You're her mother. Once you adopt a child, you become her parent. This settlement money is her money. It's her money for her future. It's not your money to spend. Don't you understand that?
Yes.
Then why did you do it?
Because when we adopted her, we thought that money was ours, so we can use that for her.
Well, let me ask you this question. Who had she lived with before?
My sister.
This sister?
Yes.
Okay. And she had $9,000. And how long had she lived with your sister?
Until she was 13.
Fine. Did your sister take out her money?
No.
You knew that. She lived with your sister a long time. And she didn't take out money for clothes or incidentals or anything else. She paid for it.
But at the time, I also was married, and my ex insisted that we do that, and it's hard to say no. I mean, it's
hard to say no. You understood that Angela had lived with your sister most of a substantial portion of her life. She had this settlement money. The money was relatively intact. So all of a sudden, you adopt her. Quick, go to the bank, take out her money, and spend it. That's outrageous. I mean, I don't know what else to say to you, except to say that you're suing for the maximum amount of jurisdiction of this court, which is $5,000. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
You got it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's it.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I know I was in the wrong.
I just hope we can all go back to the way things were before.
I'm just glad it's all done and over with.
All I ever wanted is to put things back the way they were.
Good. Oh.
23-year-old Christina Irizarry is suing her brother, 22-year-old porter Paul Irizarry, for crashing her motorcycle. Paul is countersuing for doctor bills as a result of the accident.
Order. All rise. Quiet in the courtroom, please. All rise. Now, this is case number 218 on the calendar in the matter of Irizarry versus Irizarry. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat. Ma'am, you also.
Miss Irizarry, I'm going to make short shrift of one part of your case,
Okay.
and that has to do with rent, this little tidbit of rent that you
Okay.
want from the defendant, who's your brother. I want to stay with the claim for the destroyed motorcycle,
Okay.
because that's really the basis of your claim, the destroyed motorcycle. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There's your claim. Your brother doesn't deny that he was riding on your motorcycle. He totaled it. Damage was substantial to the motorcycle, over $3,000. His defense is that you should have had better insurance. And, shh, is that right? And he is counterclaiming because he says if you had better insurance, he wouldn't have had to have paid all the medical bills when he was injured when he had this accident with your motorcycle. So that is his counterclaim, and he is counterclaiming for $5,000. Is that right, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
When did you get this motorcycle, Miss Irizarry?
Actually 2 months before he wrecked it on me.
And how much did you pay for it?
$3,500.
You have the bill?
No. I don't have the bill, but actually I have, from the place that I bought it from, papers of the same year and same bike and same model for the price.
Who did you buy it from?
A private owner.
Tell me about the day that your brother borrowed it.
He usually takes it. He'll ask us to borrow it, and he always tells us if anything ever happens, he'll go ahead and he'll pay $3,000 for the bike if anything ever happened to the bike. The day he asked me to borrow it...
when did he say that? Do you mean, sis, can I borrow your bike, and if anything happens to it, I'll pay you $3,000? Is that what he says?
Well, in Florida...
I want to know. I'm asking you.
Well, what happened is in Florida, you don't need insurance on a motorcycle. And I told him...
You didn't answer my question.
Go ahead.
So you mean what your brother said to you was, sis, can I borrow your bike, and if anything happens to the bike, I'm going to give you $3,000. That's what he said.
After I hesitated a couple of times, yes.
Huh?
After I hesitated a couple of times, yes, that's what he said.
Now, on what date did he borrow the bike when it was in this accident?
June 6th of 2002.
Tell me about that date.
Actually, that day, he just, like normal, asked to borrow the bike, and he went on his way. I was with his girlfriend and my fiance, and we were going to a swimming pool, and one of his buddies had told us that he seen our bike on the side of the road with 2 police cars around it, and that was pretty much it. We drove up to the scene where it was. My brother wasn't there at the time. The bike was crashed. The 2 officers were there, were actually on their way to charge my brother with reckless driving before we got there. And he is, at the time, was a fellow officer, and I guess he knew one of the officers there and kind of got my brother out of that. And we went to the hospital.
I'm sure he's really pleased that you just advised me of that.
Well,
go ahead.
Being honest. And and we pretty much met him at the hospital. The cops informed us that we had the tow truck coming on their way to tow the bike, and it was undrivable. And that was pretty much it. And I went to the hospital.
And he was in the hospital?
Yes.
How long did you stay in the hospital?
4 hours.
4 hours? What'd they do for you?
They just cleaned the wounds and sent me on my way. I was down for about a little shy of 2 months. Couldn't work, couldn't move.
Why couldn't you work?
Because I had road rash all over my whole body.
So you borrowed your sister's bike, you totaled it. Go ahead. Let me hear you.
The day I had borrowed the bike, I was asked to drive the motorbike to see if there was any knocking noise. Her and her boyfriend had asked me to test drive the bike to see if it does any noises. I took it for a quick ride. On my way back, I was going over railroad tracks. The back tire popped out on me. I tried to control the bike. I couldn't control it. It says I was swerving in and out of the lanes. The total distance from the tracks to where the bike was 370 feet. I only slid about 50 feet to 75 the most. And then after that, when I got into the hospital, I told her I got AAA, go back to the house, put it in a bargain trader. We're on eBay because she had got rid of a car with a blown motor that way. I said, we'll do it that way too.
I don't know what you're talking about. What gibberish are you talking about?
Neither do I.
I told her not to put the bike in the junkyard, not to tow it. Tow it back to the house, and I'll be able to sell it. So that way, you know, it's not all the way out of pocket. So here I am. I'm sitting here thinking about, well, shouldn't she have insurance on it or provided me with a helmet or anything? And the back tire was totally bald. That it started showing spots to the back tire.
Had you ever used this motorcycle before, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
How many times before had you used it?
Quite a few. Sometimes I was stuck with the bike. Sometimes she would ask.
Shh,
don't speak. You ran out of gas.
Don't speak. I'm talking to him. Had you used it more than 10 times?
Oh, yes.
More than 20 times?
About, yes.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
How is your vision?
Good.
Really good?
Yeah.
Good vision. Good enough so that you can tell if a tire is bald or not, right?
Right, but...
Don't say but me no buts. Sorry. But me no buts. So on this particular day, you say you had not borrowed the bike, but you were asked to do a test drive on the bike.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Baloney.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You were going so fast, the bike was airborne, sir.
Right.
Right.
And it also says...
Shut. That's what it says.
And later today...
You ultimately returned the dress to her in a shopping bag.
Yes.
Wrong!
Right. No, you're right. You're exactly right.
That's why I'm here.
Right.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Christina Irizarry says her brother, Paul Irizarry, owes for wrecking her motorcycle. Paul says because of the bike's bald tire, the accident was Christina's fault.
Let me see the paperwork she has with regard to a bike of similar condition. And I may just cut it in half because I don't believe a word she says about how much she paid for it, because if any normal person has some bill of sale with regard to a bike.
I also have a police report stating that he was driving recklessly and 2 written witnesses on the report.
Can I see the police report, please?
Yes. It even says that when he hit the tracks, he was accelerating at a high speed rate, that he airborne, did a Papa Wheelie airborne. If he lost a tire, how can he actually go in the air?
I'm going to ask you this question. I know that you don't need insurance, and certainly I'm going to take his counterclaim until I'm speaking. Don't you understand that?
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You may be younger, but I'm smarter.
Definitely.
All I really want to do is read this so that I can yell at him a little bit more and then figure out how much I'm going to give you for your bike. And then I'll let you go with your fiancé, and your fiancé is going to get you outside and say to you, how could you have talked about my job like that? Right? In front of all those people, that he got him off on a charge? Wait until he gets you outside. Explain to her the ramifications of that, sir. Not smart, you know. Well, there are witnesses here that say that you were going so fast the bike was airborne, sir.
Right.
Right.
And it also says...
That's what it says.
Also,
Anyway, you borrow somebody's property, you don't take good care of it, you got to pay for it. The fact that she is not required to have insurance in the state where you live is kind of ridiculous, because if he had used your bike and instead of just hurting himself, he had killed somebody else, you know who they would come after?
Me.
Right.
Yes.
Right. I probably think you got a good deal on this bike and paid maybe $2,500 for it, and that's what you're going to get. As far as your counterclaim is concerned, it's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Absolutely the dumbest thing I ever heard. You did the wrong thing.
Well, I'm suing her because of the tire, not because of the insurance.
Listen to me. The tire was bald?
That's right.
There's a term in the law called assumption of risk. Let me tell you what that means. That means that if you do something that's dumb, you assume the risk and the consequences of your actions. Now, unless you can tell me that her eyesight is so much better than yours and you could not see that this tire was bald, according to your testimony, you drove this bike at least 20 times in the 2 months that she owned the bike.
That's right.
And that if you were going to get on the bike and if you knew that the tire was bald, because you could see that the tire was bald, then you shouldn't have gotten on the bike. You should say, sis, I'm not going to do a test drive on this bike until you put a new tire on it, because the tire's no good. But if you get on the bike knowing that the tire is bald, you assume the risk of anything that happens. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Got me out of a ticket. She was being reckless. I don't think I was reckless driving.
So we don't talk no more.
Not true. It seems as if somebody was kicking somebody.
That was me. I kicked her.
That was your fault?
Yes, ma'am.
Love a person who tells the truth all the time.
This is Judy Justice. Bailiff Cassandra Britt is standing in for Bailiff Kevin Roscoe, and Law Clerk Alexi Mincer is sitting in for Law Clerk Sarah Rose. Honesty Butler is suing her former friend, Walteria Flowers, for the cost of a car and stolen property.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Good morning, Judge. Case 3074, Butlers versus Flowers.
Thank you. Miss Butler, how long have you and Miss Flowers been friends?
We became friends around the summer of 2022.
How?
We both lived in South Carolina, and then we both moved to Jacksonville, so it's kind of like we were just friends.
Did you see each other often before you decided that you wanted to buy her car?
Yes, ma'am. She used to come and pick me up all the time. And then I used to see her around the town that we lived in before we moved back to Jacksonville.
You didn't have a car?
No, ma'am.
Did you have a driver's license?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever have a car?
Yes, ma'am.
What happened to it?
I wrecked it.
You broke it?
Yes, ma'am.
How did you do that?
It was my fault. It was a failure to yield.
Oh, so there was a crash?
Yes, ma'am.
That was your fault?
Yes, ma'am.
On what day did you have a conversation with Miss Flowers about purchasing her car?
It was December 12th.
Of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of car was it?
It's a 2010 Chevy Malibu.
When did you purchase it?
It was 2021, March 2021.
And why were you getting rid of it?
Because I had another car and I was getting another car too, so.
How much did you pay for it?
I paid $8,000.
Lexi, would you look up a 2010 Chevy Malibu?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 2-door, 4-door, I don't even know how many doors.
4-door.
How many miles did it have on it when you purchased it?
It was 130.
Now, interesting because a year later, you agreed to sell the defendant that same car for how much?
I agreed to sell it to her for $4,500, but I was selling it as is.
Just a second. Go back. We're going to get to as is in a second.
Okay.
That's not the final price you agreed on with her based upon these records.
No, ma'am.
What was the final price you agreed?
It was $4,000.
Is that right?
No, ma'am.
It was $3,500.
Yes, ma'am.
So the ultimate price that you agreed to sell the car for was $3,500.
No, ma'am. It was $4,000.
Show me. Show me 35.
Yes, ma'am.
Private party, fair condition, between $6,000 to $7,800 for fair
6,000 to 78.
6,000 to 7,800.
Thank you. Okay, well, it was $4,000, but because of things wrong with the car, you said I'll take off $500 from the original price because there were more things wrong with the car than she originally thought. Is that what happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, it sounds to me, even at $4,000, you got a pretty good deal.
Yes, ma'am.
Because of what Lexi has told me about the current value of the car, which is the low end, $6,000, and at $3,500, even I would buy that car. It was a great value. This is what your case is about. It is your claim that you made all but $100 worth of the payments
Yes, ma'am.
on the car, and then the defendant, unbeknownst to you, came to your house at night and repossessed the car.
Yes, ma'am.
You say you only owed her $100.
Yes, ma'am.
Defendant says you owed her $7,000, but I think she's relying on the $4,000 figure. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's where the discrepancy is, and you took the car back.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Part of that had to do with, I gather, the two of you having an argument.
Yes, ma'am.
We fought.
Two of you having an argument. I'll get to that in a second. So you have a counterclaim.
Yes, ma'am.
You want the money back that you put into the car.
Well, not actually what I paid for the car, and also the belongings that was in the car.
Okay, let's get rid of the belongings. She did have some stuff in the car.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have it with you?
Yes, ma'am. I have some of it with me, like her debit card and her purse that she had in there.
Okay, and what about the iPad?
She never had an iPad in there.
Okay.
I took a picture of everything.
Okay, Cassandra, would you go over there, please? Take all of that stuff and move it over to the other table. Those cards belong to her?
Oh, this one's my ID.
Okay. So now you want back what you paid for the car.
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant says you didn't finish paying for it. She had every right to repossess it. Let's take care of the car first.
Yes, ma'am.
How long did you drive the car?
From December of 2022 to May of 2023.
The beginning of December?
No, ma'am.
Around the middle, like
All right,
my
so-
first payment was on the 12th.
Okay. When did you repossess the car?
I got it June 4th.
So let's make it January, February, March, April, May. So you had the car 5 months.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have the car now.
Yes, ma'am.
So she owed you really $100 when you took it back. Who paid the insurance on this car?
Everything was still in her name.
So she paid for the insurance. Is that right? Did you have insurance on the car or not?
No, ma'am.
No. Let me understand this. She's driving around with a car that's in your name that doesn't have insurance on it.
Yes, ma'am.
Where is the car now?
It's parked in my yard.
Where's the title to it?
I have it.
I'd like to see it. And you repossessed the car just a few months ago, is that right?
No, ma'am. June 4th. Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's a couple of months ago.
Oh, okay.
Great. Where's the back of this title?
I just sent it as evidence. I don't have the title with me, but that's the title. It's in my name.
Have her sign this. You're signing over the title to the car for her. Sign it over. I'll notify. Sign it over to her. We're going to give you the $100 that she owes you. Sign it over to her. You do understand, Miss Flowers, you came here to court today from where?
Jacksonville, Florida.
And you want to get home, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you got an appearance fee for coming here?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. All that's being withheld until you sign the title over to her. Do you understand?
Okay.
Great. Okay. So now you're going to have 5 days to get your car.
Your Honor.
And I'm awarding her on her counterclaim. You got your property back. I'm awarding her on her counterclaim. So far, $100, because that's what you owed her on the car. And it was done a few weeks ago. The car is there. Within 5 days, with a marshal, go and pick up your car. Do you understand? Okay. Within 5 days of today's date, she's coming to pick up the car with a marshal. Don't do anything to the car because you're not getting any cash until she has the car.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it.
Perfect.
We was at the park first, which I can pull up the video and show you we was at the park first. I did not hit her first. She walked up to me because in the video, you're gonna hear my friend saying, friend, turn around, turn around. She hit me.
May I see your video
Yes,
where
ma'am.
she hit you first?
Honesty Butler claims her former friend, Walteria Flowers, owes for the cost of a car and stolen property. Walteria is countersuing for the balance of the car and an assault.
Now, let's get to your counterclaim. I've already given you the remainder owed on the car, which is $100. But now your counterclaim is about an assault. Tell me when this assault took place.
It took place on June 3rd.
And what date did you retrieve the car, just from my memory?
It was June 4th. Well, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so it was right after this fight?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So why don't you tell me what happened?
Me and her, after, we got into the little argument about the car, I blocked her on everything and I just told her what she owed me. So she proceeds to threaten me, saying she would be at my house in my car, her and her cousin. So me and my...
Can I see what you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Did she tell this to you on the phone or in text?
In text, miss.
I'd like to see the text.
I have a voice recording of her saying it.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to see that. Even better. Though I'm deaf, it's even better. Now, is this argument, by the way, while you're looking for it, this argument was about the balance due on the car?
Yes, ma'am. It was something before that, but then it led to the car. I guess it's the service in here. It's having trouble.
You don't have service?
If you don't have service on the phone so I can hear it, I'll look at the text.
Okay. Right here. Okay, yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Okay, so before I read these, I gather from the plaintiff there was an incident that preceded June the 3rd.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and tell me on what date that incident was.
Okay, June 3rd, we got into this.
Well, I know what happened on June 3rd, but that was about the car.
Oh, no, ma'am. It was earlier that day that we was talking about whatever happened.
Okay, well, why don't you tell me about that?
Okay, so it was something going around on social media about people being behind a fake page or whatever. So I was exposed on a fake page. She was exposed
on a fake
Snapchat or something. It was something like people saying bad stuff about people on the Snapchat. So
you understand that?
No.
Okay, so it was someone
I thought it was a younger thing, and I just didn't understand it. So that's
okay.
Explain it to him.
Okay, someone made Snapchat, right? Okay, someone made a Snapchat that nobody knows like who it belongs to. They posted pictures of me on there saying bad stuff about me. They posted something about her also, and about my baby's father and other people. So Honesty texts one of the girls that they thought it was behind it and told them that it was me. By me and her still being friends, I was lost. Like, why would you text someone that's not even friends with you saying that it was me? So she said, and I have it in the text message, in the evidence, she says that, and if I did say that, y'all shouldn't be behind fake pages anyways, y'all too grown for that, keep me out of that. So I said, to solve all that, just pay me the money you owe me. To make it fair, just pay the money you owe me for the car, and I sign over the title, and we have nothing else to talk about. Then I blocked her. So then she gets on Instagram and texts me and made a voice message about, oh, I don't owe you such and such. I'll be at your house when I get off in your car or whatever to fight. So me and my friends was at this park called Lonnie C. And Honesty came out there and went live, was on Facebook Live, and I have the video. And was saying all kind of stuff on the live about me towards me. And that's when she came up to fight me, like at the park.
Your Honor, that is not true.
Yes.
Okay.
I have the evidence.
Yes. Rumors were being spread, but...
On the internet?
On the internet. No one knows the source of the rumors. And then there were some allegations that maybe it was the defendant who was the source of the rumors. Right. says not true, escalated, and then started live streaming a fight.
Right. She get.
Woo! Okay. You have the live stream?
Okay.
Okay. So we just hit the play.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Lie, you a lying. I got all the messages, and don't play with me about no $700, because bitch, I will be at your house when I get off work. Hold on, play with me. I don't owe you no $700, and you know I don't. You better find somebody to play with, bitch.
Works and plays well with others. Isn't that a check-off sign someplace? Okay, tell me what happened when you met with each other.
I was at the park already, me and my friends, the witness.
What were you doing at a park? How old are you?
I'm 21.
What do you do for a living?
I'm in nursing school.
How old are your children?
8 months and 2 years old.
Who do you live with?
It's me and my boyfriend. We got a house.
Boyfriend, the father of these 2 children?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were at the park with your friend with your children?
Oh, no, ma'am. It's just me, my friend, and my other friends. They always have stuff at the park, so.
Where were your children?
Well, one was in South Carolina, and the other one was with her grandmother.
Which one was in South Carolina?
My 2-year-old.
Who was in South Carolina?
I'm from South Carolina, so my family is there.
Who was the baby with?
Oh, her godmother.
Why?
Because we just sent her down there occasionally to be with her godparents.
Okay. So you were at the park. You went to the park.
No, ma'am, that is not true. I was with my friends and my cousin, and they had a graduation party. My friends was there. We went there after work. We was at the park first, which I can pull up the video and show you we was at the park first. They came to the park afterwards. I did not hit her first. She walked up to me because in the video, you're gonna hear my friend saying, "Friend, turn around, turn around." She hit me, and I don't understand how it's assault, because as they're breaking up the fight, none of the people I was with
May I
broke up
see
the
your
fight.
video
Yes,
where
ma'am.
she hit you first? I'd like to see that.
Okay.
That's terrible. I don't understand it when women fight. I can't understand when men fight either, but you sort of expect it of them. But I never understand how women can do physical contact with other women in anger. All right, let me see what she's got.
Honesty Butler has accused her former friend, Walteria Flowers, of taking her car without permission. Walteria is countersuing, claiming Honesty assaulted her after taking the car back.
She's going to show me a video, Miss Flowers.
Yes, ma'am.
And her video, according to her, let me just get this straight, is going to show you hitting her first.
No, ma'am, it's not.
It's not. I'm sorry. It's not going to show her hitting me first, but it's going to show me walking, and my friend is going to be saying, "Turn around, turn around." When I turned around and basically I dropped my phone, she hit me, and that's when we went to fight.
But that's not going to be on the video.
You're kind of going to see it a little bit.
All right, I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
A little bit is better than nothing, usually. You have also things that you want me to see on your phone?
Yes.
Would you get them up, please, so I...
Oh, it's up.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am, I can.
Thank you.
I have the fight right here. This sound is right there. I already turned it. The only thing you have to play is the play button.
Okay, while she's looking for us, I'm going to take a look at this.
And here you go.
Who's the one on the ground?
I'm on the bottom. She's on top of me.
It's terrible. I don't understand it when women fight. It's just so... I mean, I can't understand when men fight either, but you sort of expect it of them. But I never understand how women can do physical contact with other women in anger. Can't understand it, not in anger either. All right, let me see what she's got.
She better come right here and this whole sneak me. Oh my God. Give me the phone. All right, bitch, be coming right here. What? Oh my God. Bitch. Get up, Will. Hold on, let me put her shirt down. Get up.
looked to me like there were times in that video when she was on top and times when you were on top.
I never got on top. She kicked me in the face and all while I was down. I would never got on top.
Just said, were you wearing the red pants?
Pajamas, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you were wearing the red pants, right. I'll take a look at your pictures. It seemed as if somebody else who was in that mob, and it was very hard to tell, was kicking somebody.
Your Honor, that was me. I kicked her. We were fighting, and her witness is she jumped in the fight and she actually hit me in the head.
Love a person who tells the truth all the time. Right. Thank you. No. Okay. Ladies shouldn't fight. You shouldn't be in the same place together if you're not getting along together. You don't go to the park together. But this was a fight. Looked to me from that video is that you were both willing participants in that altercation. So I'm dismissing your counterclaim, with the exception of the $100 that she owes you for the balance of the car. So in this case, the car is transferred permanently to the plaintiff with her payment of $100. Your counterclaim for assault is dismissed. You have 2 children. Do you have kids?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, don't fight. It's not ladylike. All right, we're done. We're done. Court is adjourned.
It was not a bad car. It is now because I don't know what she did to it, but it's not a bad car. But I'm just glad she got it back out my hands.
I took good care of the vehicle. I got it fixed multiple times, spent almost $2,700 into getting the car fixed.
It's just messed up, like drivable and everything.
She told me that she reported it stolen since it was in her name, but she actually kept a spare key. And she came into my yard at like 3 a.m., I believe she said, and she just drove off with it while I was asleep.
I guess because she's immature, and some people just do immature things.
We're no longer friends.
I think what we saw in there was 2 women square up, get into a fight. Obviously, no one wants to see it, a terrible result, but you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, and the court is not going to step in and figure out what happened here.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. People generally shouldn't fight. I always find it unnerving when I see women who are supposed to be triple process thinkers, all women, but especially somebody with 2 young kids. Take yourself out of harm's way. Don't put yourself in harm's way. But if you do, don't ask, you're right, don't ask, of course, for your help.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Had this habit of turning his music up so loud. So I called the police. The next day I get out of my car and he calls me.
Did the 2 of you ever see each other socially?
Just the 2 of us?
Just the 2 of you.
This is Judy Justice. Robin Schepler is suing her former neighbor, Garrett Tappendorf, for a mobility scooter and harassment.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3053, Schepler versus Tappendorf.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Schepler, am I correct that the 2 of you were neighbors in a mobile home community?
Correct.
How long had you been neighbors in the community where you lived?
2 years.
Did the 2 of you ever see each other socially?
Just the 2 of us?
Just the 2 of you.
One time we went for a Friday night fish dinner, yes.
Other than the one-time Friday night fish dinner, did you ever go out socially with him? Either 2 of you or another couple or...
With other neighbors in the mobile home park.
Your case is about a scooter that you sold to the defendant.
Correct.
I want you to tell me exactly what kind of scooter it was, because I wasn't able to get enough information about it.
It's called the Golden Companion 2 scooter.
Where did you get it from?
My father bought himself a scooter and a wheelchair. He never used them before he moved into a
So you got it from your father?
Correct.
When? What year?
2018.
And how long had he had it before he gave it to you?
3 years.
And where did he get it from?
He purchased it from a connection he had at the VA center.
From a private person?
No, it was from the company directly.
Any luck?
So I just need to know if it's a 3-wheel or a 4-wheel.
3-wheel.
Then I have for a new one from Golden Tech, I believe.
Well, this one's 8 years old.
Well, I have what a new one is, and then I have what some eBay offers are.
Good.
But 2756
is new.
Is new. and then I could look up some used ones if you want, just to get
Could you do that from 2015? I would appreciate it. Okay. At the time that you claimed the defendant purchased this scooter from you, was it running?
No.
In what month and year did he purchase it from you?
May of 2021.
And how long had it not been running? You had had it since 2018.
As far as I know, it just needed 2 new batteries.
It's not what I asked you.
Okay.
How long had it not been running?
I'm not aware.
So as far as you know, it had not been running since 2018?
Yes.
Tell me what the arrangement you made with Mr. Tappendorf was with regard to the scooter. He said he wanted it. You said...
Well, it's not running. I wanted to get new batteries for it and sell it myself for about $3,000.
Yeah, well, that would be hard since it's 8 years old and the new one costs less than $3,000.
So I said, we can work out a deal.
Do you understand what I just said?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So he said he's interested in buying it, and I know he's a handyman. So I asked if he would be willing to install a dishwasher in my home and a water softener in my home, and we could work out a discounted price for buying the scooter from me.
So what price did you work out?
At that time, I had mentioned $1,500.
Is that what he agreed to?
It was a verbal agreement. There was no talk on price.
No, there cannot be a contract without terms. Have to be terms. You say this is what you want. He says this is what I'll pay you. And I will do something to reduce that price by so much. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay. So far, we don't have a contract.
No.
In what month and year did you take possession of the scooter, sir?
I believe Robin is right. May of 2021.
How much money did you give her for it?
None.
Did you ever give her any money for it?
Yes.
When?
Close to 8 months to a year later.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding you giving her money for it.
Well, I thought we already had it worked out with all the labor that I did. And my girlfriend took it down to the mailbox. And as soon as she left, Robin's right across the street. She come running over and she said she wanted more money.
Okay. Well, I'm missing that there's a whole piece missing there, sir. 8 months later, you gave her money.
Yes, I did.
How much?
$500.
Okay. Sarah, in your
I looked
adventure on the machine, did you come up with a price for used?
Yes. So there's actually one right here on eBay that's the same 3 wheels that needs batteries for $350. And then there's another one for $250, and they range up to about $750.
Your Honor, I have the information on that too from 2 companies in La Crosse.
No, I don't need any information from you. I have a very trusted clerk here who's just looked it up and indicated that for a used scooter, the range is from $250 for that year model to $750 for that year model, right?
That's what she looked up. This was an unused, never used scooter.
That's what she looked up.
Yes.
Also, if I may ask you, Your Honor, or show you, it is a manufactured...
So far, you're not losing, sir. So I don't know what you want to contribute to this.
I have an old flip phone with the date on it. It was manufactured 05/28 of 2007.
Okay, so it wasn't 2015, it was 2007.
That's what I found on the scooter.
Kevin, can I see the document that the defendant referenced?
Okay, I'll show you.
No, you had it right over there.
This one?
Yeah.
Well, that's just, here, it's on my phone, Your Honor, and I don't know if you can look at it. I just wrote it down so I had it in front of me, but
okay.
I have it on this phone. If you can operate it, I don't know.
I can't operate it, and I don't want to operate it here.
Okay.
Return this to him. Anyway, the $500 that you gave to her is more than reasonable for the scooter. So my question to you is, if it was vulgar then, which to me it would have been, why did you let him in your house to install a dishwasher?
I was not aware of those actions that he had at that time.
Okay.
And later today.
He advanced the money for security deposits so you had a place to live. And the next month you decided to be a stay-at-home dad.
I had no option.
I don't care. What does that matter to Mr. Huntsman? Do I care? Does Sarah care that you had no option? Whitney doesn't care. Not even Kevin cares if you have no option.
Robin Shepler claims her former neighbor, Garrett Tappendorf, harassed her for months. and O's for a mobility scooter.
Now, you did other work for her. Tell me what other work you did for her.
The work that I performed for Robin was she had no dishwasher there. So I cut the cabinet out, prepared a spot for the dishwasher, had to go through more cabinets to get the plumbing over to the sink. Then it needed to have electrical work to power that up. And she asked me to install another electrical outlet for her microwave.
Now, Miss Shepler, you seem to acknowledge that the defendant did, in fact, install a dishwasher for you.
I did some of the work as well for that.
Well, that's your home.
Yes.
It's not his home.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do as much work as you like. And this was part of the deal for the scooter, which he paid you $500 for, which already covers the cost of the scooter. So now he's working off nothing. So he installed a dishwasher for you.
He did sub-quality work, though.
Well,
I have photos if you'd like to see.
I don't want to see, madam. If you want a professional installation, call a professional. If you want your neighbor to do it in exchange for a scooter, then you don't complain that you don't like the work. Does it wash dishes?
I had to replace it. No.
It was used, Your Honor.
What?
It was a used dishwasher.
Yeah, replacing the dishwasher. Does the current dishwasher work?
Yes.
Is the current dishwasher a new one?
Yes.
Was the one he installed a used one?
Yes.
There we go. So far, he's paid for the scooter. Punitive damages for harassment. You want to go into that, Ms. Shepler?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
I knew him for 6 years prior to being neighbors. In that time, we would have community fires, bonfires, and he had this habit of turning his music up so loud.
Just a second. Give me a month and year.
This specific time for the last time was on March 16th. This was during the day.
Just March 16th, 2023. He played his music too loud.
I was working, and I couldn't do my job across the street because his music was so loud.
Next.
So I called the police. And the next day I came home from work, I get out of my car, and he calls me
that's a nasty word.
No, I did not.
Just a second. And
other vulgar terms.
And
he had the habit of standing outside urinating, where my grandchildren would see him.
Well, tell me when. Give me
every other day he did it.
Well, then you shouldn't have let him in your house to install a dishwasher.
He also had...
Just a second. So my question to you is, if it was vulgar then, which to me it would have been, why did you let him in your house to install a dishwasher?
I was not aware of those actions that he had at that time.
Okay. Next.
The harassment comes from after he was served his small claims case that I filed. I witnessed him putting spotlights out in his front flower bed and running extension cords to power them. And I kind of wondered what he was doing. At 6:30, I proceeded to go to an evening activity. I came home at 10:30 at night. I turned the corner onto my street to see the entire street lit up because these spotlights are shining on my house. I proceeded to call the police. The police came within 11 minutes. I have documents of the police. I have a video of the police going to the defendant's house, in which they spoke to him, and within 3 minutes, the lights went off. But I had my camera rolling, and I could see the police were standing 10 feet away from the door. Next thing I know, the police are coming over to my house to talk to me, and when they came to my door, I turned on my front light. When the police came, they asked me to turn off the lights so they could talk to me, and I told them, this man is harassing me. I'm afraid of him. He has a problem with alcohol.
Why did you file a small claims case against him? I don't understand. You were paid more than the scooter was worth between the $500 he gave you that you accepted, plus in addition to that, he did some work in your house, whether you liked the work he did, whether you didn't like the work that he did. I'm not understanding why you filed, because you say this harassment started after you filed the small claims case.
Yes.
And I don't understand why you filed a small claims case against him.
I feel it was a brand new, unused scooter that happened to be 6 years old at the time. So I think the value was higher than $500. And I brought over a flyer to him, which I have here. And we sat down and we discussed it, that $1,000 would be the going price for what he'd owed for the scooter, having done the work.
Okay. First of all, whatever it was a plus item for you. It was given to you by your father who couldn't use it anymore. You don't know what he paid for it. He says from the scooter, it was built in 2007, despite the fact that you say your father bought it new in 2015, which I'm not so sure about. But the highest price for that scooter is $750. the highest. The lowest is $225 in the same year. So you got paid for it. I don't understand why a busy woman like you would waste your time. I just don't understand. You seem like an intelligent woman. You have a counterclaim. It is your claim, Mr. Tappendorf, that because the plaintiff called the police on you several times, it caused you to be evicted from your home.
That's true.
Show me.
I filed a counterclaim in the amount of $1,800.
I have it. And it says punitive damages for losing home and moving expenses, which I read your counterclaim, and you say because of her constant complaints about you.
I don't have any proof.
Well, if you don't have, Mr. Tappendorf, you know what happens when you don't have proof?
You get nothing.
Right. Right. Because you filed the counterclaim, and I can't tell you what happened. You have to have proof and be able to show me that the reason you were asked to leave the leased property that your mobile home was on was because of the plaintiff. It's possible that it was, because the police, based upon what she tells me, were called twice.
It was more than that.
That may be more of a reason. You don't have to help his case.
I've never had a ticket, never had a warning. I just had a warning one time that the radio was too loud, please turn it off. These lights that she's talking about
I'm not interested.
False.
Sir, all you have to do is show me that you were evicted from the property because of the plaintiff.
It's all hearsay then, Your Honor.
Well, then I have a problem.
I do have proof of what he harassed me with.
Just a second.
And later today.
According to what I read, the money was going to come from your work.
Could we ask that question one more time? Just so I know.
The money was supposed to come. Listen, he didn't give you $2,800. I want you to understand that right now. That's not going through my mind.
Okay.
This is a very smart old mind.
Robin Shepler claims her former neighbor, Garrett Tappendorf, harassed her for months and owes for a mobility scooter.
He has no case. Why are you helping him?
I'm not helping him. I have my own case against.
No, your case is dismissed against him.
Thank you.
Because you have no case. You were paid for a scooter more than handsomely. You had work done in your house. You were paid far more than the value of it over the internet for a scooter that's between 8 and 14 years old, more than handsomely, and you had work, and he did work for you. That you may not have liked the work, but he did the work, and you installed a new dishwasher that works. And he did the cabinetry. You may not like the way he did it, but you installed the dishwasher there, and it took time. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, so we're done here. Go, be well, have a happy life. You're not living there anymore?
No, I'm not, Your Honor.
Good. Are you living someplace else that you like?
More peaceful place.
Good. Glad to hear it. That's
He's
it.
not
We're done.
supposed to be in our park, and he continues to.
This court is adjourned.
1632 की खिज़ा, एक सिया जंगल जहां साए खौफनाक राज छुपाते हैं। थॉमस, एक 17 साला लोहार का शागिर्द, अपनी बीमार मां के लिए नायाब जड़ी बूटियां ढूंढने इस जंगल की गहराइयों में भटक गया। जंगल के खतरात की तंबीहात को नज़रअंदाज करके वो आगे बढ़ता गया। शाम ढलते ही एक ठंडी खौफनाक हंसी ने इसका खून जमा दिया। एक कजेल डाइन, इसकी आंखें जलते कोयलों की तरह धुंध से नुमुदार हुई। कांटों की बैलों ने इसे जकड़ लिया, जो ज़मीन से इसके हुक्म पर अलिफाबेर। इसे घसीटकर एक नम तारीख गार में ले जाया गया, जहां इसे पत्थर की चट्टान पर बांध दिया गया। डाइन एक उबलती देग पर मंतर पड़ रही थी, इसकी जवानी छीनने के लिए। थॉमस के गायब होने की खबर शहजादी एलिनोर तक पहुंची। 19 साला, काले बालों और ज़मरद्दी आंखों वाली बहादुर शहजादी, जो दरबारी बेकारी से नफरत करती थी। एक मुबारक चांदी के खंजर से लैस वो अकेले जंगल की तरफ रवाना हुई, इसका शाही चोगा हुआ में लहराता हुआ। मुरझाए फूलों के निशानात इसे डाइन के ठिकाने तक ले गए। आधी रात को डाइन ने चीख कर वेम आलूद भेड़ियों को तलब किया, मगर एलिनोर का खंजर चमका और उसने वहमी सायों को काट डाला। जादू टूट गया। एक चकाचौंध रोशनी के साथ बेलें गिर गईं। थॉमस आज़ाद हुआ, कांपते हुए। इसकी नज़रें एलिनोर से मिले, जिनका चेहरा रहम से नर्म था। अब तुम महफूज हो, इसने सरगोशी की, गिरते हुए ठिकाने से भागते हुए। उनके हाथ छुए और एक गर्मजोशी ने दोनों को जकड़ लिया। चांदनी जंगल के साए तले उन्होंने अपनी कहानियां बांटे। थॉमस के सादा ख्वाब, एलिनोर की मकसद की ख्वाहिश। सुबह होते ही गांव के करीब उनकी हंसी मिल गई और मोहब्बत ने जड़ पकड़ ली। हफ्तों तक वो छप कर मिले। थॉमस ने चांदी की अंगूठी बनाई, एलिनोर दरबार से छप कर निकलती। उनका रिश्ता गहरा होता गया, उनके दर्जात के फ़र्क से गैर मुतज़लज़ल। बिहार में एक खामोश जंगली मैदान में उन्होंने शादी की। गांव वालों ने खुशी से नारे लगाए। उनकी मोहब्बत डेवन के घरों में नस्लों तक गाई जाने वाली एक दास्तान बन गई।